and Sharik. So we did not learn about your anxiety journey until episode 4, but I have to imagine this was a huge part of your decision to go on the race and your preparation for it. Can you talk us through that part?
Yeah, so essentially, before going on the race, I have a therapist that I talk to, and we basically kind of work through like what it would look like in the event that I have an episode like on national television. Just kind of worked through. It's just, the thing is it's much easier said than done, and so I had the preparation. I talked to my therapist. The show itself talks to my therapist as well. They know my diagnoses. They know, pretty much everything that's going on. And it was just, as I said, easier said than done. A 16-hour day with, something that triggered me at like hour 12. And so it was definitely hard to kind of channel the things that my therapist told me. But I think at the end of the day, we kept going, and it was definitely hard to watch it back without the context of the trigger, the thing that actually, kind of sent me over the edge. But, as I said, I mean, we finished what we started and we kept going until we couldn't anymore. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Did you guys have a set plan for the roadblocks? And did that change once you got into the race?
Yes, we did have a set plan. I was supposed to be doing more challenging, the more physically challenging roadblocks, and so Sharik would be doing the more creative, the ones that require more thinking and so on, like a puzzle. That would be her. Chiseling, that would be me. Singing, that would be her. But of course, didn't end up that way, because you never know what's exactly going to happen. Because when you read the clue and it says, who wants to have a chiseled body? Who knew that was going to be more physical? And when you read the clue and it says, who wants to call in the cows? Growing up, I called cows in all the time. I had no clue I was going to learn how to yodel.
Right.
That was Sharik. She's a singer. So you never know, even though with a game plan, because you don't have all the information. When you read the clue, you don't know what's behind whatever veiled curtain they have, so to speak, until you get to where the challenge is happening.
Well, legs 1 and 2, you guys had great finishes. 4th and 3rd seemed like you guys were really working well together. How did you feel about those 2 legs?
Yeah, I mean, I think those 2 legs, we were just really getting into the flow of working together in that capacity specifically. I think it was great because we were really able to tap into some things that we did when I was growing up, and tap into, the communication that we have established and that we've learned so well throughout 23 years. So it was great, finishing 4th and 3rd. I think the thing that really started, pushing us behind was me during the roadblock. And so it was just, it's kind of hard to like maintain a good morale when you can see that you're at the back of the pack, especially after such a long day. But the 1st and 2nd legs, beautiful. Like, I love watching those episodes. It was so rewarding to, watch the show, have watched the show growing up, and then being on the show and actually being able to execute in the way that you want to, and kind of staying towards the top. So that was great.
Another one that seemed difficult was anatomy class. You guys, it looked like you patiently went back and back and back to listen to the class over and over again. What was the difficulty with this task?
I think the fact that I just did not take anatomy class seriously when I was going to school. I think because we got there first, we had the opportunity to go in there first. And so accent was a bit rough for us. And by the time we were finished with the first try, we went back in with the group that came there. And so we had the opportunity to go in 3 more times because we just could not. For example, I don't know what emorus is.
Right. I know what humorous is, but I don't know what emorus is. Right. That's 100% it.
Yeah. Right. And did you guys ever sort of consider changing detours at that time?
No. We did not.
No, yeah, it was never an option, mainly because the cheese just looked like more work, which watching it, I was like, that's
Well,
so easy. That was so much easier. But we were just thinking like, okay, I'd rather work my mental muscles than physically work my muscles. And honestly, thankfully, because I feel like if we would have done cheese, which is a physical challenge, and then done Ducati and then chiseling and then window of opportunity, it would have been a whole day of just running. And so it would have been a little bit difficult, more difficult towards the end. But yeah,
Right.
the accent was insane. It was so difficult.
Well, you guys actually do make up some time with the drive with Ducati. You come to this chiseling roadblock in fourth. What was your stress level when you arrived?
So we were aware that we had bypassed one team, which was really cool. So I think when we were arriving, we're like, okay, cool. Fourth, this is good. And then, I'm kind of getting into it. And when you are doing a challenge, you're not really thinking to look around that much. You're not really thinking to, ask other teams questions because like you don't want to invade their personal space, which honestly, I probably should have done, to just ask questions and just look. But yeah, so you get there, and I mean, we were pretty chill. When I did start to stress was when we started, seeing teams coming and then seeing them going and coming and going and coming and going. And that's kind of when I was like, no, I'm definitely doing something wrong, because I have been working on this piece of block for 2 hours. So it was just like, yeah, it was, the stress level definitely heightened throughout the 2 hours. So yeah, it was a hard challenge. It was very physically draining, and yeah, it was very difficult.
You spoke about the cheers that you got as you were approaching the mat in Florence, and that helped your energy a bit. When Phil offered the option for you to leave, did you actually consider it at all?
I think at that time, what actually happened was that conversation we had with Phil, I was not expecting to be on TV. I wasn't, because most times you go to the mat and you talk to Phil for about, honestly, 10 to 15 minutes. And then, but some pieces are so obviously more casual than, the proper like television pieces. So I was not expecting any of that to actually be on TV. And so when I saw them air it, I was like, this is not going to come across well, because I wasn't like thinking like, oh, the cameras are on. I was just like, oh, we're just talking to Phil. Right. So there was no real, like, I think what was going through my head at that point was, I need to sleep and I need to like be away from this day. I need to eat. I need to relax a little bit. So that's why I asked my dad, because I was like, if he wants to continue, I'll continue, because I know that this is his dream as much as it is mine. And so I want to be respectful to his dream. And that's what you do for the people you love. And so that's kind of why I was just like, that's why it was so casual, how like I was like going back to Phil, like, okay, Phil, is because I didn't expect it to be on TV, So I mean, I wasn't like, I was going to continue because I know, my dad definitely wants to continue. And if I got the opportunity to continue, I'm not going to quit and just leave, even though I was saying I want to go home, because I was saying I want to go home because I thought we were last, honestly. So I was like, why are we continuing this? We're obviously last, without even thinking about the fact that Rich and Dom were still racing.
Now, when you're in Jordan, Linton, had you guys already decided that you would do this roadblock, or did you decide in the moment?
I think we decided in the moment, just walking up the steep hill.
In sand.
Physically exhausting just to walk up. And then when I saw what it was, I said, okay, I think I could do this. But then I had the wrong strategy, because my strategy was to look outside the circle, because I'm really an outside the box thinker. And so that was the wrong strategy to have adopted. So all along, that piece was inside the circle.
And you had the last one. I mean, it is a needle in the haystack at that point. Did you know how far behind you were with David and Aubrey at the end there?
So Glenda and Lumumba got theirs before me. And so when Sharik was there, I think it was about 30 minutes after they had left that I found my piece. That it was at that point that we figured, okay, we're last. And this The Jordan one, the Jordan leg was just a straight shot.
But Aubrey, you're talking about the very end, right?
Yeah. I'm wondering if the camel task actually mattered. Were you guys in timing wise with the last?
No, we weren't. We literally got there. We could see the slide. We could see the camels. There was no other team there. As we were walking up, David and Aubrey, I'm now assuming Dad, we saw another team running to the pit stop. And now it makes sense that it was actually David and Aubrey. Yeah. So we were not competing with anyone. We were simply finishing the tour to be eliminated because there were genuinely no other teams there.
We saw a beautiful relationship between a father and a daughter, which we don't always get to see. I mean, Linton, you are so supportive. Your background with education and working with students is so clear, and your love for your dad is so beautiful to see. What was it like to run this race together?
Oh man, it was just, like I say, something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And every time I get asked this question, I feel teary-eyed because not everyone gets to do this with their daughter. Not everyone gets to do this in a lifetime. And so I feel so blessed to have shared that time with Sharik, and asked me if I could do it again. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Definitely. Honestly, ditto. I didn't think that I could learn more about my dad. Being an only child, it's just been me and my parents my whole life. And I felt like, going through the years of just doing everything and always seeing my parents there to support, like, I was like, we can't get any closer than this. And we definitely did. And I have so many fond memories of us, like, in the hotel room doing yoga or like learning how to play Sudoku without a phone. So like, there are just some memories that can never be replaced, can never be replicated, that happened on the race that I'd do it again, also in a heartbeat.
We actually learned how to take pictures without a phone.
With our eyes. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it was a fantastic experience, a whole lot of laughs and tears, and just I feel very blessed to have a father like Dr. A here, and I'm so proud to call you my dad, Pa.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
A good one.